still working on this camera, man. I can't get it to save. I'm technical. Hey, I got my technical support here, and we can't figure it out. So we still working on it. But we gonna keep it moving.
Well, one of the craziest thing, and people still they do not believe me, but I do have proof. In Philip Jackson and Mac Ursher, the Florida game, we were at Mac's house, and we were watching the game, and Mac Ursher said, "What if Fred picks off and just take it back for a touchdown?" And we're just sitting around, we're just talking, like because this is somebody we know, and we won't, like man. And lo and behold, the next play, you pick off the ball, but I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna tackle him because I see the crowd of, defenders in like they're gonna catch him. I mean, he got to maneuver through too much. But then I watched six just go through, and typical Fred dives in the end zone. I'm thinking, dude, you're gonna get hurt because the way you landed, it was no bracing of nothing. You landed just dead body. And I was like, man, he's gonna get hurt. How did that feel on national TV, man? How did that feel?
Well, I was playing a little bit angry at the time because at that moment I wasn't a starter, and a lot of my teammates was voicing their opinion about giving me a chance. And I had, I got pretty good playing time, so I couldn't complain. But at the time, it was people starting and with that being said, it was like they was holding back everybody from Northwest. They didn't want, us to play. We had a few guys playing, but Royal Preston was my good friend. He played with me at Northwest. We won a championship together. Royal Preston, Jeff Miller, a lot of those guys, Tim Evans, a lot of those guys, man, that came with me off that national championship team. We all signed with Ole Miss, and they was always telling, the coach, like, hey, you gotta get this kid a shot. Let him return a kick, let him do something. They wouldn't let me do it. I don't know why, because they had people that was doing it the year before. So I guess they didn't want to ruffle any feathers, but they never would let me play in the game or start me. So I had to play the nickel role. And if you go back, I had got beaten the series before for a touchdown. And that was from the receiver, Chris Doring. He was like 6'4" at the time. Wasn't very fast, but very technical. Like their receiving core was amazing. From Jack Jackson to Riddell Anthony to Chris Doring, like they had it all. Now I'm not even gonna get to defense because their defense was monstrous, but they had a receiving core, and then they had a two-headed monster in the backfield with Fred Taylor, and I forgot the other guy that was backing Fred Taylor up, and I got beat for a touchdown. I was trying to time the jump to make the pick, and I clipped his feet, Chris Doran's feet, and I tripped and fell, and he caught it, scored a touchdown. I got chewed out. It's like, what are you doing? Like, knock the ball down. And I told him, I said, Coach, I was trying to set myself up for an interception. Like, I wasn't thinking knock it down. I'm thinking catch it, score. That's just how I was built. So I get to the sideline. I'm sitting on the bench, and my confidence was down. And, I got chewed out by Joe Lee Dunn. He's like, next time, just knock it down. Just knock it down. Don't even try to be a hero. Just knock it down. I said, yes, sir, no problem. And I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to do the next time I get on the field, because I know it was going to be third down, And Royale comes to me. He sits next to me. He's like, what's wrong? I said, man, I screwed up, man. I don't think he's gonna play me anymore. He's like, oh, he gonna play you. He ain't got no Fred. He's like, Fred, he gotta play you. Because everybody's been, pitching to get you to play. And he's like, he's gonna play you. Trust me. He's like, just go out there and do what you did at Northwest, and everything else is gonna fall into play. And I said, okay, no problem. So we go third down like clockwork. Go out there. We're in man coverage. Lo and behold, he tries to throw the 7 route. Nah, that wasn't. I made sure I timed everything that time, and I picked it, and I couldn't see nothing but green grass. Nothing. Only thing that was in my mind was scoring. I wasn't thinking about taking a hit. I didn't look left or right. I just looked straight ahead, and I just turned on the jets. And I knew it wasn't too many people out there that had the type of speed I had at the time, but I turned it on. And when I got there, as far as that dive, we practiced it every time. They told us not to do it, but that was my only chance to do it. And I did it. And it didn't hurt. I just knew how to do it because we practiced it so much. And it was our thing at the time. And it was great. It was great, that experience. And then to see the people that I saw in the back of the end zone from Bruce was amazing. You know, to get up and, you know, high five and all that with those people, man, it was amazing.
Wow. Well, Fred, you, man, that I'm replaying it because we couldn't get to them games back then. Now it's just right now we go whenever we want to go, but back then you couldn't get to them games. But man, it was just amazing when that happened. You go on to UT Martin,
Mm-hmm.
and have a stellar career, and then the pinnacle, the now back then, which is kind of amazing that the draft is on tonight and we're talking to
Right.
somebody who experienced that moment. Back then, the second round was not televised, and
Right.
the first round had concluded. And in '96, it wasn't much internet. I know this generation would not understand that, so we had no way of knowing when, where, or how. And I remember a car just came zooming through the quarters, and it's Miss Sherry. It's Jamal's mother. And on the back of her car, it got Fred drafted second round, first pick by the Seattle Seahawks. Tell me about that phone call, man. How to get that phone call, the work, and to get that phone call.
Well, to be in a room filled with first rounders, I didn't want to have the typical barbecue, with family and everything. I went to Memphis. My family had the barbecue at home. They was waiting and all that. But I wanted to be around my agent, who was at the time with Jimmy Sexton, and a multitude of guys that was with me. And the plan, we were told I was going to go first round. I was supposed to be the second cornerback taken in the first round. The first guy, he was from Oregon. His name was Alex Moden. Now I got a crazy story for that as well. His name was Alex Moden. He was supposed to be taken before me, and because I was supposed to be the second corner taken, he gets in trouble the week before the draft. His stock drops, which because his stock dropped at the time, nobody put me in front of him. So as his stock dropped, my stock dropped.
Wow.
Yes. And he ended up falling further in the first round. But we're sitting there watching that. I see Jerome Woods, first rounder, Kansas City Chiefs, played in Memphis. He was, there as well. And he was represented by my agent. A couple other guys that went first round represented by Jimmy Sexton. And me and Brian Mix was sitting there. We're sitting there and we're talking like, man, we both was projected to go late first round. But the cards didn't. Once everybody knows, once the shifting and the dealing goes in the draft, stuff change. And you might drop a little bit and you might drop a lot. You just never know. But Alex gets drafted late in the first round, and nothing or no team needed a cornerback after that. So that pushed me essentially into the second round. And when the first round was over, it was nobody there but me and my dad. And when the first round was over, Jimmy tells me, he was like, Fred, first round is over. we're going to pack up and go to a different room to get prepared for the second round. If you know me, I don't care where I get picked.
Yeah.
I don't care. I just want to be picked and get an opportunity. That's all I wanted, was an opportunity. And as we're picking up, the phone rings. We don't know what's going on. Like, we're unplugging phones, and luckily we had one phone still plugged up. It rang. Jimmy answers the phone. He's like, yeah. Okay. No problem. Right. He turns and looked at me. He said, Fred, it's for you. I said, what? He's like, yeah, it's for you. I think you're about to get drafted right now. Now, I got a handful of stuff because we're packing up to move to a different room. And my dad's standing right there with me. And I answered the phone, and it was Dennis Erickson. He said, I said, hello. He says, is this Fred? I said, yeah. He said, the Raiders are going to pick you a pick after us. And I said, okay. I'm like, why are you telling me that? Like, the Raiders? And I'm talking to the Seahawks. He's like, the Raiders are going to pick you a pick after that, because I already spoke to him. He said, you want to wait for them, or you want us to take you now? I said, take me now. Take me now. And we had our conversation, and he said, well, we're going to pick you right here. He's like, congratulations, yada, 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 all that good stuff. As soon as we got settled, turn the TV on, whatever, I see my name go across the bottom line. And all I can remember, like, I zoned out, and I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
That I had did it. All the hard work and everything. I couldn't believe it. All I remember was hearing was my dad with that disposable camera. Click, click. That's all I remember. He's taking a picture of my emotions, and I didn't have any. And I'm just sitting there in disbelief watching the TV as I got picked. And it was amazing. And I called home to tell everybody, because once again, we didn't have internet back then. And we didn't have cell phones. Let me call this person or whatever. You had to call a landline. And I called. Nobody answered the phone. Nobody answered the phone. And I'm calling, let everybody know that I was just drafted. And I was coming home to celebrate with everybody. Nobody answered. Kept calling for about 15, 20 minutes. And all of a sudden, somebody answered the phone. And I said, hello, it was my cousin. He's like, hello? I said, it's Fred. He's like, man, what's going on? You know, it's my cousin from up north. His name is Darnell. And he said, I said, man, what's going on? I said, man, why ain't nobody answering the phone? He said, Fred, everybody's running up and down the street celebrating because you just got drafted. I said, it was on the TV. He said, yeah, we saw it. We saw it. I said, well, I'm on my way home from Memphis. We're going to celebrate. We're going to enjoy this and everything. It was just funny how everybody was celebrating. They knew before I could even tell them. They saw it on TV and they were just shocked. Like, they didn't know. Like, they didn't know they really didn't know how good I was until that happened. Wow. And I go back to when I selected my agent with Jimmy Sexton. He called me and said, hey, I want to represent you. I hung up on him because I thought, once again, we were jokesters, thought it was one of my teammates. You know, he called and I hung up. I'm like, man, get out of here, whatever. He called me back, said, no, really, this is Jimmy Sexton. I want to represent you. We think you fit well with our organization. You're a good character kid. You don't cause no problems. And listening to the scouts, you're high on the board to be drafted. And I'm like, what? I hung up on him again. I thought you were playing games. All of a sudden, I get another phone call. I answer the phone, and I'm like, man, y'all quit playing on my phone. It was this raspy voice. It was Reggie White. He called for Jimmy and said, hey, man, it's true. It's true. He is Jimmy. He's my agent. Yada, yada, yada. And that's when because I recognize his voice. Like, you cannot fake that.
Yeah.
And I recognize his voice. And he's like, just listen to me. And I think listen to what he's saying about you. I think you'll fit well into the organization. He only represents good quality people because, that's what he wants. And that's what the brand he wants to uphold. And I listened to him and man, if you go back, I have the article where this guy, he wanted me so bad. He drove from Memphis to Bruce. And I signed my agent deal with him in Jim Becky's office. at State Farm. And they took a picture. It was in the paper, everything. That's how bad he wanted to represent me. And I didn't know anything. There was no blueprint. Nobody told me which way to go. I had to learn this all on my own. And he taught me everything. And that's how I got with Jimmy Sexton as an ace, as my representative.
Coach?
Yeah, man, I've been sitting here just enjoying the stories, like just trying to take it all in. So I'm gonna just spit something out and just let you take it away. So, I remember watching as a kid, and there was some all-time great receivers, or I may view them that way because I was a kid and watched them and everything. I just want to. Do you have any interesting stories about guarding these guys and what that approach was like week to week and year to year too? I mean, you had a successful, lengthy stint in the NFL. So, what are some of those great battles that you remember?
I've had plenty of welcome to NFL moments, but when you want to talk about the receivers that I faced, I can go. The list goes on and on. And I'm going to start with arguably, if he's not the best, but he's close to it. My close friend, Royal Preston, at the time, he was with Green Bay Packers. And I was with Seattle. He calls me and he says, Fred, what you doing? I said, man, I'm trying to, learn this playbook, so I can play as fast as possible. I don't want to play thinking. I just want to play fast as possible. And he was like, and I asked him, I was like, how's camp going? How you doing? Whatever. He's like, man, we're in a joint practice right now with the Minnesota Vikings. I said, oh man, how you doing? He said, Fred, I'm doing good. He said, well, I got to tell you something. I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, I'm looking at the schedule. He said, I looked at our schedule and then I looked at their schedule just to see what they got going on. He said, I just decided to call and warn you that Minnesota got this kid. He is killing us right now. I said, who's the kid? He said, Randy Moss. He said, Fred, he is killing us in practice. He's like, nobody can guard him. Nobody. I'm like, man, he ain't that good. He, at this moment, I'm in that phase like we're all the same. We're playing the same league. We're all equal. Until I faced him. Man, I've never experienced anything like that in my life. I've never seen a man get 5 yards from you, look you in your eye, and throw his hand up and say, I'm going to beat you. And you're 5 yards in front of him. We were taught once he throw his hand, just turn and run. It didn't matter. His stride with his frame, I'm taking little baby steps. He was striding right past me. And he had a fifth gear. I only clocked out at 3. He had a fifth gear. Like, it was crazy. And after that game, I think he went 3 catches for like 140 and a touchdown. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think he was out by halftime. Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm not embarrassed about it. Because hey, that's also a Hall of Famer.
You could say you was there. There ain't many people that can say that.
Yeah.
It's also Randy Moss. I had a safety over the top. He ran past both of us. Like,
right.
Easy. Like, it wasn't no comparison. He ran past both of us. And it's just, that was, I don't want to say the welcome to NFL moment, but it was just amazing to experience him and Michael Vick in person. I can't explain it. Like, I just can't. Everybody's like, oh man, you see on the TV, like he's fast. Well,
you have to see him twice a year.
I was gonna say that's a divisional opponent.
Yeah. Once I got to the Saints, everybody like, man, is he fast? Is he look? Well, get on the field with him. It's even faster. Like I don't. Some of these things, man, is just unbelievable. But I'm gonna go back to my rookie year. I was coached by this guy Dave Brown. He actually coached Jamal in Texas Tech.
All right.
Yeah, and this guy gave me his number because he thought I was that good to wear his number that was retired. And he took it out of retirement to give me the number 22. Like I didn't ask for it. He just gave it to me. And he sat me down in the meeting and he told me, he said, Fred, I think you could be great. He said, but we need to work on how you can compare to these 6'6" frames over your 5'9" frame. The muscle, the strength, the weight that they carry, we're gonna have to see how we're gonna get you to do that. And he said, there's only one way. It's the reason why we didn't have that problem with thinking about drafting you. He said, the thing that you have that a lot of people don't have is that you have heart. He said, you got tenacity. You don't quit. He said, even though you're outmatched, you don't quit. He said, that's what made us draft you. And I'll never forget, we had a pregame routine and we did it every day. And in my rookie camp, they always stressed, it's like they tell us, they lay this big book in front of you as a rookie. They tell you, I'm not your parents. We're not going to give you a curfew. We're not going to monitor you. You better learn these plays. And me and my good friend, Philip Daniel, we studied that playbook all night long. I don't think for the first month we got sleep because we were up all night running, throwing stuff off our heads, off each other, trying to learn this huge playbook with about 700 plays in it. And we studied it till we knew it like the back of our hands. And I remember going to practice and I had a brain fart day. I had one of those days that nothing was working. I just had one of those days. And they always preach to us, if you had any problems, ask some of the older guys. They'll help you out. Cool. I'm sitting there on the sideline before it was my turn to go on the field. And they ran a play. And I had a brain fart. I'm like, God, I don't know what I do here. I don't know. So the guy that was in, that I was backing up, he comes off the field and I said, hey man, you ran that play. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. Like, can you help me out? He looks at me, he said, oh, don't worry about it. Just run man. I said, oh, okay. But they're telling us to ask the older guy. He's the older guy. And I asked him, he said, oh, don't worry about it. Run man. I get out there, a couple plays later, they call the same call. I run man. I do what he said. I ran man. I got chewed out. What are you doing? You need to be in your playbook. You need to learn this. Yada, yada, yada. And Coach Brown come running in my face on the field. It's like, what are you doing? He's like, why would you play man in this? You know this, Fred. And I said, the guy's name was Carlton Gray. And I said, Carlton told me to play that. He said, what? I said, Carlton told me to play that. I asked him what the play was. He said, play man. He said, come here. He grabbed me around my head. He walked me up the field. He said, look, Fred. He said, why would you ask Carlton? I said, because y'all told me to ask the older guy, whatever. He said, Fred, he's trying to stop you from getting his job. What makes you think he's going to be, he's going to give you the answers to the test? He's not going to help you take his job. He said, well, I'm going to ask of you. He said, from this point on, you learn your playbook so you ain't got to ask nobody nothing. Those words resonated. And I learned that playbook probably in 3 days after that. And I didn't have to ask nobody nothing else because it made sense. It made sense why he did what he did. It made sense what Coach Brown told me. He's like, don't rely on him. We know we told y'all to ask the older guys, but not him, not the same position, because he's going to do whatever he can to stop you from taking his position. And I took that to heart. From that point on, I took that to heart. But my rookie year, welcome to the NFL moment. I'm going to tell you this. My welcome to the NFL moment as a 150, maybe 60-pound cornerback, playing in the NFL, think I could play on that level, was guarding Joey Galloway. Never in my life have I ever seen speed, size, everything packed in one body. I think he scored 3 to 4 touchdowns on me in 2 days. And the last one he scored, he took me on a deep ball. He beat me so bad. When he caught the ball, he started walking. He walked. He had this thing when he beat people, and you can look for it. He'll beat you and walk to the end zone. That's how bad. While you running wide open to catch him, he'll walk to the end zone. That was his thing. And he beat me maybe for his 3rd or 4th touchdown. And I'm running as hard to catch him. He walks in the end zone, and he hits me with the ball. And he's like, "Get your stuff together, rookie." And I turned around, and I'm walking back to the sideline with my head down, thinking to myself, telling myself, I don't belong. I was literally telling myself, I don't belong. Coach Dave Brown ran down there with me, and he grabbed me under my chin and picked my head up. He's like, "What you doing?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Why you got your head down?" I said, "Nothing. No reason." I said, I'm just thinking. He said, "Fred, look at me." He said, "If you cover that guy, you can cover anybody in the league." That's exactly what he told me. He said, "If you cover him, you can cover anybody in the league." He said, "We weren't expecting you to cover him." We wasn't expecting it. He said, "Nobody can cover him. Not even the great." I've seen him do the great so bad. And I'm talking about Coach Prime. I've seen him do Coach Prime so bad. But I also seen Coach Prime get him back. So that lets me know they both was great. You know, that was my welcome to the NFL moment. And once I seen Coach Prime and Joey Galloway go at it, and the media kind of pumped that thing up because we played them that week. The media came into the locker room and told Joey Galloway that Coach Prime is waiting on him in Dallas. He was in Dallas at this time. Coach Prime is waiting on Joey Galloway. And Joey Galloway said to him, said to the media, said, "I'm not worried about Coach Prime. He ain't ready for me." So they go back to Dallas and tell Coach Prime what Joey Galloway said. And Coach Prime's response was, typical Coach Prime, "Oh, he tired of the appetizer. Now he want a steak." And they played that to Joey, and we pumped it up. Like, "Joey, hey, you about to go against Coach Prime." Joey said to us, he's like, "Y'all scared of him. I'm not scared of him." And I could not sit down the first 2 quarters because I wanted to watch that. Typical Joey comes out the huddle, full speed, gets lined up, tell Coach Prime to come up here. Coach Prime walks straight up to him, slaps him on the hip, say, "Let's go." Typical Coach Prime, Joey went around his man so fast. He ran around him so fast, and it was a run play. We didn't throw the ball. So the next play, Coach Prime was like, "Okay, I'm going to have issues with this guy." He's like, "All right, cool." Goes back in the huddle. He didn't back down. Joey comes back out. Tell Coach Prime, come back up there. He goes back up there, does the same thing, slaps him on the hip, tell him, "Let's go." Joey runs around him again. This time he beats him like he beat everybody else, at least 5 yards, catch the ball. He could have scored. He steps out of bounds. He catches the ball, takes 2-3 steps, and just steps out of bounds on his own. Tell Coach Prime, "Let's go again." Coach them lose it. They're like, "What are you doing? That could have been a touchdown." He's like, "Oh, no. I'm about to punish him for real." That's what Joey said. "I'm going to punish him for real." And we was like, "Oh, this is going to be good." Once again, he goes to the huddle. He comes back out. Coach Prime does the same exact thing. Goes up to him, slaps him on the hip. But this time, he steps off 8 yards. In his mind, I can't stop him on the line, but I'm going to focus on this quarterback. The time he steps off 8 yards, Joey never caught another pass.
Wow.
Coach Prime told Joey, no, he didn't tell Joey. He knocked down 3 passes, and he turned and looked at our sideline and said, "The next one, I'm taking it home." He said, I could have took 2. That's what he said. He said, "I just knocked it down." He said, "The next one, I'm taking it home." I said, "No," I said to my team, I said, don't throw it over there no more." Said, "Don't throw it." We threw it again. Guess what he did?
Take it home.
Now you know his signature. high stepping, looking at the whole sideline, going with DeAndre. And I said, I told y'all not to throw it. He said, don't throw it. And we threw it. And he made us look bad, man. He did.
But Fred, man, you have man. Boy, I keep looking at this time like, man, I could do this for 9 hours. But I do want to talk about your sons. I do want to talk about their journey and to have, because they have an encyclopedia at their just right there, right, that know the grind. You knew it wasn't handed to you. It wasn't gift wrapped to you. Man, you had to dig, shovel dirt, pack it down. You had to do all that stuff to get there. How are you showing them the way?
Well, I can say this. I let them lead. I don't put no pressure on them. I don't say, oh, you're going to do it this way. You're going to do it that way. I said, no, my conversation with them is like, all right, what do you want to do? They tell me, oh, Dad, I want to do this. All right, this is how we're going to do it. I'm not going to make you do it the way I did it. I'm going to do it the way that you want to do it. And then I'm going to guide you in whatever direction I can, as long as it's not harmful to you. So let's start with Jace. Jace was one of those guys like me, multitude of positions. He was considered an athlete. Whatever they need, wherever they needed him, he played. And he hit his growth spurt, and it's just funny because he was this chubby kid. He was this little chubby, stocky kid. He was a running back at first, and then he shot up. He bloomed up to about 6'1", like overnight. And he was, at that moment, he was a quarterback / receiver. He wanted the glory. He wanted the touchdown. He wanted to say, hey, y'all look at me. I scored touchdowns. And one day we had a conversation, and I was like, what do you want to do with this quarterback thing? He's like, Dad, I want to go play on the next level. I want to do this. I want to do that. I said, what do you think about defense? I don't want to play defense. I said, why? He's like, I can't backpedal. I said, I couldn't backpedal either. I said, you will learn. You learn how to be quarterback. You learn how to be a receiver. I couldn't do it. He's like, I don't know. So we sat down. We was having dinner one day, and I said, he said, Dad, when we gonna start training? I said, now. What? I said, now. Go get your stuff together. He ran up. He was happy, but he didn't know what he was getting into. He go get all his equipment, and I set him down right there. I said, you got your equipment? You want to go? He said, yeah. I said, who you want to train you? He said, I want you. I said, you sure? He's like, yeah, I want you to train me. I said, son, like, I know what it takes to get there. I said, it's going to be tough. I said, I'm going to train you, and I'm going to be your trainer. I'm not going to be your dad. I'm not going to be all that. I'm going to be your trainer. He's like, oh, yeah, Dad. Oh, yeah, I got it. I said, well, we're going to start with DB first. I don't want to do DB. I said, Jace, let me tell you, you passed the eye test right off bat. I said, I see something in you that you don't even see in yourself. I don't want to do DB. Cool. We left and went out there that day. We was out there for 3 hours, didn't get nothing done. We argued because he was telling me how he wanted to do it. He was telling me how we're going to do it. And I took all that into account. I said, but you don't know, at this point, you don't know nothing. I said, I got to break you down, see what your flaws are, and build you back up. And that's what I did. I broke him down. We fought and built him back up. So when it first started the backpedal, he looked like a little baby deer. He couldn't do it. I said, just trust me. I said, I got you. Just trust me. I recorded him. I let him see what I wasn't going to tell him where his mistakes were, because he wasn't going to believe me. Jason's a visual kid. You have to show him where his mistakes are. You telling him, he ain't going to believe it. but you have to show him. And that's what I did. I set the iPad up and I showed him, and I put him through drills, and I did all that. And when I tell you, when he got it, nobody believed it because nobody saw him play DB. When I went to his coach, and with his high school team was stacked from quarterback to receiver to whatever. And coach came to me. He's like, Fred, what you think? You know, it's gonna be hard for Jace to get on the field, you know, whatever at these positions. I said, Coach, put him at corner and put him at safety. He's like, I don't know about that. He never seen him do it. I'm the only person at this point seen him do it. I said, Coach, you gotta trust me. He never trusted me. One day we was out there training on the field. Coach had left something in his office. He come to his office. He never knew. He never told us he was there. He went in his office, got on the camera, and he watched us for 2 hours. He watched me train Jace for 2 hours. On our way out, he comes out his office. He's like, Fred, let me talk to you for a second. He pulled me to his side. He's like, I didn't know he could backpedal that good. I said, I told you, Coach. He said, but he's like, can he tackle? I said, I'm telling you, he can tackle. I'm telling you right now, he can tackle. Because I coached him from 5 years old all the way through now. He can tackle. He been doing it his whole life. He's like, all right, I'm gonna give him a chance. And from that point on, it gave him a chance. He led the state in interception with 9 his first year. He should have had 15. He dropped them. He led it with 9. It's his first time ever playing DB. His first time. And once he got comfortable with that, he didn't want to see offense no more because it got to the point where he would rather deliver the hit than take it. That was my pitch to him. And when he started getting, noticed, a lot of parents need to understand when you trying to get your kid, you can't depend on the coaches to get your kids scholarships because that's not their job. The high school coach is not their job. And I'm going to be honest with you. These guys, you have those coaches that go in, they work for 3 hours or however long they have their kids after school. That's it. They're not obligated to do extra work. You have those ones that will do it because they see something in certain kids. But that's ultimately not going to get the kid the scholarship. As a parent, I think the parent is supposed to get the kid the scholarship because the way the recruiting has changed, you have to go to these camps. These people want to see your kid in person. They want to see your kid go against the elite of the elite. They want to see you in person. They want to see how you move. They want to see your demeanor. They want to see all of this. Go to these camps. I don't care if you get your butt kicked. You go get your butt kicked. Just like I told Jace, hey, you see this kid, that he's considered as the best of the best. And guess what? Every time he step up, that's who you going against because all eyes are on this kid. And if you're going against him, all eyes are on you now. Go dominate. You think he's the best? Jace would tell me like that. He's good. He's the best. I said, he ain't going to be the best today. You're going to be the best. Simple as that. You're going to be the best today. I don't care what he did before that. You're going to be the best. And when I tell you this kid stepped up every camp, every top recruit he went against. Sometimes he went against him 3-4 times in a row. He didn't back down. And that's ultimately how he got his name. That's ultimately how he went from Jace Thomas to the Jace Thomas. He worked. And it's sad to some degree to me because he got bullied at some time. At some point. He got bullied a lot because everybody look at him, he only getting what he get because he's dad. Well, his dad is not on that field. His dad is not playing for him. So you can say what you want to say, but if you watch the tape and you watch him on the field, that's not his dad. That is Jace. 1,000%, that is Jace. And with the Penn State coach that recruited him, he didn't know anything about Jace because Jace had switched over to from quarterback to safety. and he saw Jace. It was raining, and me going to every practice. I know every parent, I know every person that come watch practice. It was raining. I was sitting in the car, and these 5 cars were sitting there. They were scouts, and I'm sitting there in the rain watching practice, and I see this scout jumps out the car, runs through the rain, and talk to the head coach about Jace. Who is this kid? Jace was dominating on one-on-ones that day. He was playing corner, a little bit of safety, and he took notice of Jace then, and he offered him a scholarship right there on the spot because he saw that Jace was going 2 and 3 times in a row. 2 or 3 times in a row when somebody else not decided they want to go, he just goes. He don't care who he going against, he just goes because ultimately he's sharpening his knives. And I tell him, you got a toolbox. And in that toolbox, you got to have a multitude of tools that you can use. So that helped him out a lot. And the parents, I sacrificed my life for the last 8-9 years to make sure he had the best opportunity. I didn't do a lot of things because I wanted to put him in the best opportunity to be great and give him a chance. And that's what I did. We went he got invited to the elite camp in Alabama, and I had been talking to him for 2 years. Hey man, quit worrying about how you look. Quit. Every time you do something, you're fixing your clothes, you straightening up your towel. Quit doing that. And I'm his dad, he hear me all the time. So he kind of pushed to the side till he got to the elite camp. He made a big play. Alabama, and Nick Saban walks right up to him and looks at him, calls him out the drill. And I'm on the other side of the field. I see all this happening. Calls him out the drill. He got a big smile. Oh, man, I'm about to talk to Nick Saban. He got a smile. Nick said something. That smile turned to a frown. And I'm watching this whole thing. He comes out, when the break comes, he comes off the field to me. I said, what Nick say to you? He's like, Daddy, Nick told me I can't play for him. I said, why would he say that? He said, I'm too pretty. He said, I'm too focused on how I look. I said, didn't I tell you? I've been telling you this for 2 years. Nobody cares how you look. Just go play. And from that point on, that was it. You look cute when you warm up pregame. I'm cool with that. But when it's time to buckle up and get out there, all that goes out the window. All that goes out the window. And I'm so proud of him, man. And where he is now, he's getting an opportunity. He's running, I tell him he's 1B. He's running with the starters, and the transfer portal kid is going to be in front of him. But I tell him, I say, he's 1A and you 1B. Anything happens, he don't play well, you in there. He get hurt, you in there, which is good. Which lets me know you're going to get a lot of playing time. Yeah. And his younger brother is, he's raw. He's trying to, find his way. He went from middle linebacker to he's transitioning to a strong safety. He's going to be a lot bigger than Jace. A lot bigger than Jace. If I can get him to bring his weight and his strength with him when he tackles, he's going to be monstrous. So, yeah, I'm working with his recruiting right now. And that's my thing with helping the parents or anybody. I try to help anybody I can because it's a lot of unknown.
Yeah.
And it's changing day by day. And whatever information I got, whatever I've been through with my kids, I'm willing to share the information. I'm not gatekeeping. I don't do that. I want to see everybody succeed. I want to see everybody get their opportunity and be blessed just like I was. And hopefully, like my sons were, like my sons are now. I'm the past. Jason's the present and Harlem's the future. So that's the way I look at it. And I let them know, like, there's nothing going to be handed to you. I'm not going to coach you soft. I don't believe in that because the older you get, the harsher the coaching gets.
Yeah.
You got to be able to take it. You got to be able to take in the information. Don't get mad and mess yourself up because, coach fussing at me and all that crap. You got to be able to do it, man, and put little things like that to a side and keep performing. And that's where I'm at with all that. And man, I can go on. And I wish we could do.
Man. Are we gonna revisit? We are gonna revisit. But we got one more thing, Fred. Okay. We got one more thing. Can you see our screen?
Yeah.
We got one more thing. I want to share something with you. we got one more thing we want to hit before we get off of here. I think it's
Oh, I'm seeing. I don't see another. I don't see another screen. I just see you two guys. I don't see.
okay. Yeah, I'm about to share it. We gonna. It's another thing that we do want to share with you today. And can you see that?
No, I can't. I can't. Oh.
We want to share something with we got a little something we want to say. But I'm gonna let the current football coach say what he got to say.
We're here today honoring Fred Thomas, Bruce graduate of 1991. He played in the NFL, was a second round pick of the Seattle Seahawks, playing 3 seasons for the Seahawks, and the bulk of the rest of his career for the New Orleans Saints. Fred also was a member of the Northwest Community College National Championship team in 1992, and we are today honoring him by retiring the number 10 that he wore at Bruce during his time here. And whenever our current player that is done wearing number 10 graduates, number 10 will never be worn again at Bruce High School. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Fred.
Mr. Thomas, what are you doing on October the 16th, 2026?
Oh man, that's awesome, man.
We are inviting you on October the 16th, 2026, in a home game versus MS Palmer. Fred, we are officially retiring your jersey.
Wow.
And you will be the first member of the Ring of Honor, and we will do that ceremony on that night.
Man, that is man, that's awesome, man. I'm forever grateful.
This is something that should have been done years ago. And we sat down with board members and current coaches and past coaches, and I said, it's time. And on October the 16th, 2026, we will, during a pregame ceremony, we are going to unveil the Ring of Honor banner, and number 10 will be no longer worn after this year.
Wow.
And number 10 will be forever. Stitch, you are the first Bruce Trojan to have your number retired, and you'll be the first Bruce Trojan to enter into the Ring of Honor for the Bruce Trojan football team.
Man. I'm definitely honored, man. There was a lot of people that came before me, and definitely they paved the way to give me an opportunity to be who I am today, and to give me something to even look forward to and strive to be. You know, like I said earlier, there was people before me that I emulated and I wanted to be like Sinatra, Armstrong, and all those guys. I wanted to be just like them growing up. And man, I'm forever thankful and grateful for that to be done. And as far as that, I'm gonna have to check the boys' schedule because I don't like missing any of that stuff.
LSU played Mississippi State on that night. I mean, on that next day at home. You'll be able to get back home in time.
I don't know. My baby boy plays on Friday.
Oh, he played on Friday.
Yeah, he plays on Friday. So
well, you're gonna have to send a representative. We got to do something. You got to get somebody.
I'm gonna try to be there. I'm gonna see if it's a away game or if it's. I hate to say if every game is important, but I'm gonna try to see if it's a game of really importance, and I'm gonna ask him, which I know he's gonna say yeah. But you know, you look them in their face, they really want you there. I'm gonna get back with you, coach, and I'm gonna do my best to be there.
And like I said, we do have flexible schedule. You know, we can pick a home game that's best, but I know that was the game that we chose. But regardless of what game it is, number 10 will finally go up. And man, everything that you have done for Bruce, a lot of things that people don't know, a lot of things, a lot of weight rooms. A lot of people, they don't know what you've done, the contributions you've made. And you're not the type of person that say, hey, look at what I done. You've
Right.
always done it, and you just wanted Bruce to be successful, not just for your professional career, your high school career, your college career, but not only that, but how you have carried yourself and how you have done it the right way. And you will be the first. And man, on behalf of the Bruce High School staff, which I'm the athletic director there, and head coach Chuck Darbone, our principal Rebecca King, it is an honor that we'll have an opportunity to honor you on one of those nights.
Yeah, man, I'm forever grateful, man. It lets me know that people still thinking about me. They look at me in that way, and the things that I have done. And the people that do know, and those that may not know, it was done for a reason. And like you said, I don't look for nothing. I don't look for the publicity. I don't look for any of that. I just did what I did to give back to the community and the players that's there to come behind me, and just show them that it's a way. Like, if you want to be this, all you gotta do is just work at it. And before we get off, Coach, I want to say this: even though I was a second round pick, I want to tip my hat. I want to take my hat off to you guys. I love the show, and you see me chime in from time to time. you know, I don't be on social media that much, but once I get on there, you guys pop up, I'll chime in. But I want to say this: congratulations to Calhoun City High School. What they have done this year is nothing short of amazing.
It is amazing.
My hat goes off to them and everybody in the community, because, hey, Calhoun County strong. We're all a part of that. And we want to support, the rivalry. We all know that. I don't have to say it, but we all support each other. And I want to say, I've said this many times to people who would listen back home. I know I was drafted second round, but for Coach Jennings is what I would say he got it out the mud. Him and all the rest of the guys. All the rest of them guys, man. Hall, all of them. They didn't get drafted, but they had to fight.
Yeah.
That's, hey, to be able to go in there and fight, that's tough, because you're immediately behind the 8 ball. And for them to play, the time they play, that's tough. It's hard to get in there. It's even harder to stay. I know this, and I preach this to everybody. We only have, 352 picks in the draft? Nobody even knows the amount of players that are trying to be in that 352 picks. So that's why I say it's hard to get in there to even be chose. And then from the bottom 4th round down, they're not guaranteed. You're going to have some free agents coming in and take their spots. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen first rounders get cut the first year. I've seen it. Because they thought because they were first round picks, it was supposed to be handed to them. If you don't come in there with the right work ethic, that's anything. They will replace you. It's not, the NFL doesn't stand for not for long for no reason. So you got to fight. You got to battle. If there's your dream, that's what you want to do, you got to work for it. You got to work for it, and you got to be willing to do what your peers are not willing to do. You got to sacrifice. You got to go in and put in the work. You can't be, I don't feel good today. I'm not going to do it. Or I'm going to play the video game or be on my phone. You got to be willing to do what your peers are not willing to do if you want to be at that next level. I don't know a great that took days off. I don't, in any sport, I don't know one. Including myself. I never took days off because I had a goal and I wanted to get there. And ultimately I got there. Nobody really saw what I went through or even know what I went through to get to that point. So I had to train. I had to work out for the scouts, and I was pledging at the same time for a fraternity. So it was tough on me, but I did it. I knew what I had to do. I did it. And it was great. And I appreciate you guys. Like I said, I want to give my head up off to those guys, man. Coach Jenny and Hall, all those guys, even Migo and all those other guys that had opportunity, man. That right there should be something to say what we had come out of Calhoun County was special.
Yeah.
And there's more to come. You got kids that are on their way up. They got the same opportunity. They got what we didn't have. Well, I didn't have. I didn't have a blueprint. But they have it. And they can go and talk, use your resources and talk to me or anybody else that has been there. Because those people have been there. I took every step. Like I tell my son, I have a key. And I tell him, I said, this key is to the NFL. Right? And I tell him, this key is also the key to my house. You can take this key and give it to anybody you want to give it to and say, hey, can you take this key and take me to my dad's house? They're going to tell you no. You know why they're going to tell you no? Because they've never been there.
Mm.
This key is to the NFL. I've been there. I can take you. I've been through every step from the workouts to the combine to the draft to the rookie season in 13 years and beyond. I can give you any information you could possibly get. They looking at the combine. They see these guys working out. That's just the tip of the iceberg. They're going to show you the working out part because you do that every day. But when you get in that classroom and you got 700 people sitting there and they ask you, depending on your position, hey, I'm going to give you this off as a cornerback. I'm going to give you this offense. You tell me what you got to do, the linebacker and the safety on your side got to do. That's what's going to separate you from everybody else. And it's going to dictate if you can retain information and put it out there so they can trust you being drafted. That's just the way it is. And these stories have never been heard. My son has heard them because I tell them all the time. But once again, we've talked for a while, Coach. Hopefully we can do a part 2 because I got
part 2 is gonna be when you come down, whatever day that is. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna be all in the studio together.
Hey man, I got combine stories too with Ray Lewis and Keyshawn Johnson. Hey, I got stories of them at the combine, man. I've never, man, it could go on and on. But I thank you guys and I thank everybody who had a hand in returning my jersey.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. I'm grateful. I'm thankful, and I appreciate you guys for having me on here, man. It's amazing. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Let's give it up, man, for Bruce Legend. Fred Thomas, man. I will get that information to you. We'll be touching base. And once we get that set, we will be advertising it. And y'all be prepared for part 2 because we're gonna do part 2. We're gonna all be in the same spot. Let's give it up for Fred Thomas. Appreciate you, man.
Always, man. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
You too.
Good stuff, my brother. Good stuff, man.
It was. I'm kind of glad that he kind of, alluded to part 2 before we had to.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to ask questions because I was like, just keep talking.
Just let it roll, man, and let's just listen. Let's just listen.
This will be a really good. I hate going back and listening to myself talk and re-listening, but I do believe that I'll be re-listening to this one for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, we are, man. This has been an awesome night, man, and I can't wait to get the exact date when we're gonna get it done. But we definitely appreciate Fred sitting down with us, man, and this, like I said, this avenue is a new one for you and I. But man, we're really enjoying it, and we thank everybody that has joined us tonight. Make sure that if you missed this episode, we're gonna chop it up. We're gonna have a part 1 and a part 2 of this episode. So you get the first hour in one podcast, and you'll get the second hour in the second podcast. So make sure that you're gonna be looking for 2 episodes, okay? 2 episodes. But we'd like to thank everybody that joined us tonight. That guy right beside me, he's the offensive coordinator, and I'm the defensive coordinator. We make up the Coach and Coach podcast. Make sure that if you missed the show tonight, make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast. You type in Coach and Coach podcast, and my gray beard and his dark hair is going to show up. And all you got to do is just hit that subscribe button. That way you will never miss an episode. Coach, anything else to get our attention?
If you listen to this and you're an Ole Miss fan and you're going to be in Oxford Saturday for Meet the Rebels, come find us. We'll be around.
Holla at us, man. Holla, you know what we look like.
Yeah.
We'll be in the house for Meet the Rebels. But once again, we are the Coach and Coach Podcast. We'll catch you on the next one, Coach. We'll see you, man.
See ya.